Scrolling some more. Oh, you know, Facebook it's linked in with Instagram now. So let me go on Instagram so I don't have to read everything on the post. I just want to see the pictures. Scrolling some more. And by the time you look around, 3 hours have passed by. And then we also have the nerve to say, oh, I just don't know where the time went. Yes, you do. You were distracted. And one thing that you have to understand about distractions is once those minutes are gone, it's like unrefundable money. You do not get them back. God is good and he gives us grace and mercy, but I have never read in the Bible anywhere where he tells us he gives us our time back. Somebody show that to me. My uncle is a minister, and I will ask him to show it to me. But I want to see where God says, you are okay to waste your time because I'm going to give you some more time. He will give you grace. He will give you forgiveness. He will give you mercy. And he has even raised Lazarus from the dead. Jesus was resurrected. So he, offered them more time. But that was for a purpose. So I'm not saying he won't give you more time. But there needs to be some purpose behind it. We have to, use the valuable things that he's given us. Next we're going to talk about busyness. How many can relate to doing something but getting nothing done? On your way, but you didn't go anywhere. Who can relate to that? I can. I've had those moments where, are you really busy? Or are you just lacking prioritization? So sometimes it's about priorities. Maybe you're just not having taken the time to focus on what you're trying to do, or focus on what it is God has told you to do. Figure out how to actually execute, how do you get there, and then do it. Like Nike says, just do it. Not really, I'm too busy. I got this to do, I have that to do, I just can't. No. It's like my grandma would tell me, if a man tells you he's too busy, you are not his priority. Okay? So I apply that to my life. I've made I'm grateful to God for so many accomplishments, from, being great at high school with basketball, going off to college, living in, joining the military, being a parent to my children, and coming back. But you have to make sure that you understand what your purpose is. And if you can't figure out, okay, well, I kind of know what my purpose is. I kind of know, but I don't have time to sit and do a workbook. I don't have time to journal. I don't have time for that. But I really think that when we get really, really busy, and that busyness is stopping us from getting the things it is that we need to get done, it's because we're scared. We're scared to deal with anything that we may discover in the stillness of our own selves. We start thinking about, why can't I get that promotion? Why haven't I gotten to the next level in my job? Why haven't I gotten to the next level in my relationships, friendships, marriages? In my spiritual walk with God. Why do I feel like sometimes that we're just not connected? Because you're probably not where you're supposed to be. The young lady said earlier that we'll keep getting the lessons. And he's going to keep resurfacing until we learn, until we get past those experiences. Because you can't move to your next level when you haven't passed the first one. It's like playing a Nintendo. You can't get to level 2 on Mario Kart. That was one of my favorite games when I was a little girl. You can't get to the princess. We're playing. It's like, I really want to get to the princess. Oh, there's that dragon. And the dragon is spitting out all that fire, and I'm just scared. But what are we afraid of? I skipped over the obstacles one. We're going to turn obstacles and opportunities, because God is telling me now I need to deal with fear a little bit more. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. But anytime things come up in life, find out why that thing is happening, and turn it into an opportunity. When you feel like you're being set back, no, you're not being set back. You may be pivoting. Say, okay, this is a pivot, but where is God trying to push me to? I wanted to go left, but I keep getting pushed right. Just go right. It's so much easier. Just go. I had a point in my life where I told God, you know what, I'm exhausted with going against the grain. I keep pushing, and I'm the one keep getting hurt. I keep making the same decisions because, maybe there's something about my decision tomorrow that I made yesterday that's going to change the result, but that's not true. Not true. And I know I'm not telling anyone things that they don't already know, but it's always good to hear it again. you know, from a different perspective. So I definitely hope I'm helping everyone right now. But let's deal with this fear. Your deepest fear is that you are powerful beyond measure. A lot of people know this as a Nelson Mandela speech. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. You'll see on the screen the boldness pieces, because those are the pieces I really like to pay attention to when I'm trying to reset myself and recenter, you know, whose I am and who I am, and remind myself what that means. Because I know I'm a child of God, but what does that really mean? That means you are unstoppable. That means as long as you are walking the path that He has designed for you, there is nothing that He will not do for you. There is nothing He will not give to you, and there is nothing you can't ask Him for. Because, oh, by the way, the prayer line might be clogged up with ReNata praying for other stuff. Like, oh, God, can you help me? You know, but everyone else is like, well, I'm praying too, but I don't think God's hearing me. He's hearing you. You just have to get still so you can hear Him. You got to get real still, because the stillness within ourselves is also, you know, it's kind of clogged up with what we want anyway. So, you know, I've ran into a few decisions in my life where I had to call my mother. She's kind of like my heartbeat path, my vein to am I on the right path. And she's really good at telling me, oh, you know, God didn't tell you to do that. Well, Mom, I really wanted to buy this car, and He has given me the provisions. Just because He gave you the provisions don't mean that's your purpose. You know, He's provided a vehicle. Nobody tell you go buy a Mercedes. You know. Especially when there are other things that are priorities in your life that He has also provisioned for you. So we have to get still to know, okay, God told me to go buy a car. Okay, God, which car? God told me to apply for this job. Okay, God, which job? God told me to pray with this woman. Okay, God, what am I supposed to say? You know, those are the things that once you start to have that inner peace and that inner circle of relationship with God, then you got to take it to that next level. Now that he can talk to you, because you have to be in a place of receptivity, right? So now that He can talk to you, now we can have a different kind of conversation. I went from babbling to talking, from talking to speaking, from speaking to lecturing, and from lecturing to here I am. So it's the phase with God as well, right? So we ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant and gorgeous and talented and geeky and, you know, cross over from IT into professional development and executive coaching? Who am I to be at the age of 35, 6 figures, and in the top 4% of African American women in the federal government? Who am I? I am God's child. You know, and I take the time to tell people, here's how I did it. But you got to first get still with God to ask Him, is that your path? It could be your purpose, but is my path your path? Doesn't mean that when we share our story that you don't pull and glean from certain things. But what's your path and what's your purpose? But who are you not to be great? Who are you not to be the boss lady? Who are you not to be large and in charge of your life, because you are following who created you, which is God. I like the thing on my Facebook page now. It says, God is within her, she will not fail. And I read those every morning. I have these little affirmation cards that help me deal with my fear. Because it's scary out here when you're trying to live life and make the right decisions. Just normal stuff. Like, we're not trying to do anything big. We're just trying to get through life. I just want my bills paid. Something as simple as paying my bills. Then all of a sudden, I want a little excess as well, God. How can I get more? And God, if you just give me more, I promise I will do what you tell me to do with it. That's the key. He can give it to us, and then I didn't tell you. God has literally told me, girl, I didn't tell you to do that. Like, what were you thinking? I wasn't. I was in myself. I was in my flesh. I wanted to do it, so I did it. And one day God said, well, you deal with the consequences. You know, but I ain't gonna leave you. Grace and mercy, she on their way. They coming. It might not be as fast as you want them, but they're coming. Because you're my child, and I told you that I would take care of you. But little girl, that's what He says to me, little girl, you better get it together. And then I get scared again, like, oh man, oh, just give me one more chance, God. I know all of us have been there before, right? But then we say, okay, I'm a child of God. There is nothing flashy and sparkly about diminishing the value in yourself. You don't make yourself small because you're afraid that someone else will be intimidated or they won't like your shine. They don't want to be sparkly. They don't like that. Well, guess what? That's not your tribe. That's not your village. Let it go. Guarantee you, you're not missing anything. If they ain't loving on you, everybody in your corner is not your champion. So if they're not cheering for you, leave the boxing stage quickly. Run as fast as you can. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, because the God within you, when he gives you that first notion, he's talking to you. Listen to spirit. Listen to it. You know, I like to talk about Job a lot, because, you know, when God said, try my son Job, he was thinking about ReNata and the future tense. Like, try ReNata. You know, cast yourself down and worship me is what the devil tried to do with Jesus. No, try. God has the confidence to say, try me. You got to get into the space where you know, okay, God, you told him to try me. So obviously, I need to help this person, or my story is going to help someone else. But there is always a purpose, and you should feel great when God allows something or someone to try you. You know, just look at it, it's like, oh, okay. Because we were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. How many believe that God is within you?
Oh, I know.
Yeah, right? So it's nothing you got to act like. There's nothing you have to practice. My uncle likes to say, he just is. And my aunt likes to say, you got to know that you know that you know that you know that you know. That he just is. You know? And you know, I have a whole family of ministers, my mother, my uncles, my grandmas, and they always helped us. Now, you know, we strayed, but we always came back to the roots of what got us here. And when you fear God, that's a different kind of fear. It's reverence. It is respect for not only who he is, but who he is in your life and the effects he has with you every single day. So it's very important. It's not just in some of us. It's in everyone. It's in me, it's in you, it's in you. You got a different kind of light. You have a different kind of light. You have a different kind of light. Everyone's light is different, but everybody's light is going to shine until you choose to dim it. I can't take your light from you. You can give it to me, but I can't take it. I can't dim it. You can turn the switch down. You can go to Home Depot, buy you a dimmer, hook it up to your legs or something and hit the button and say, okay, I'm going to minimize this because I don't know, I'm scared, I don't want to. Girl, bye. We're not going to do that. We're going to do the work. We're going to reach out to people and get into those circles who can help us and help us get those tools and techniques. And most of the time, it's just building confidence, getting the people in your circle who can say it's going to be okay. And they're authentic with it. They're not saying it because they want to be in your circle because you can do something for them, or there's a platform that they can share. You know, I like the fact that training with Lisa was about authenticity. She talked a lot about that. You know, it's very important to remain authentic, not only to yourself, but to God and to the people who are around you. Right? You have to do that. And as we let our light shine, we unconsciously, below the surface, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. Because as we are liberated by our fear, as ReNata has been liberated from her fears, that presence, when I walk in the room, I give you permission to liberate yourself. I give you permission because if you don't know how to do it, I can help you get there. You know, we have a tribe of women, we have networks. We know how to support each other. And that's what fear is, not having that support. So here's a few jewels. My mother's name is Jewel. So I like to say jewels from the boss lady. Just keep swimming. You know, I like to get by the water to get clarity, but sometimes you got to dive in. You see a shark, most people want to jump out. They want to jump out and, oh, get out of the water, get out of the water. No, I'm going to put me I'm going to put my scuba suit on, and I'm going to swim. Put my hand on the fin, and I'm going to control that shark. You're not going to bite me because God is within me. And I will speak to that mountain. I will tell you to move, mountain. And if you're still there when I look back, I'm going to say, didn't I tell you to move? Oh, so you didn't hear me. It's like, yeah, okay. So now I got to figure out how can I make you move. Sometimes you got to dig deep under the roots and pull that thing up like a plant. and push that mountain out the way yourself. That's the work. That's dealing with the things that we kind of sort of don't want to deal with because it's the root of the problem. I don't want to tell her I'm hurt. I don't want to talk to her and tell her that I was abused. I experienced church hurt. So no, I don't want to talk about God. I don't want to do this, or I don't want to tell her that, you know, I filed bankruptcy, or I don't want to tell her that I can't pay my bills and I do need credit repair. Where is she? Right there she goes. I don't want to tell her that, right? But unless you shine the mirror on yourself and allow everyone to see that reflection, they cannot tell you if your makeup is messed up because you have this mask. So take the mask off. And let that be okay. And anyone who makes you feel that it's not okay, that's not your tribe. That's not who you're supposed to be around. And that's real simple. It's enough of us in here that if you ever feel anybody outside of this room that makes you feel, give us a call. Hey, I just felt like, I think I'm not in my tribe. Okay, you went outside the circle. See there? You went outside the circle. You're supposed to stay right here and win. I'll stay in that part. That's what you're supposed to be doing. I tell you, go outside the circle. Now you're out there flapping in the wind, swimming outside the short circle. Now we can't protect you, right? And so when we own our own story, we determine the cast, the script, the main characters, the extras. Sometimes I let people kind of hang, you know. And how long the show lasts. Because if you hanging and you are not serving the purpose that God has given me, you are taking away value because you're not adding. So if you're not adding, then you're subtracting. You know, multiplication and division is the derivative of the both. So either you're adding or you're subtracting, right? And if you're subtracting, unless God has told me that they have come into your life to take away fear, or to take away anxiety, or to take away you ignoring me because I'm trying to talk to you, if they're not coming to take away with purpose, then they are there to take away your provision. Okay? And we don't want that. Because if you can't be provided for, then we put ourselves in a different kind of situation. And then we're in what I call hair on fire mode. And we're stressed out about how am I going to be provided? How am I going to pay my bills? How am I going to be a better person today? If I've emptied out my soul to everyone else, how can I feed someone else's soul? That's why at the airport they tell you, don your mask first before you try to assist others. So if you're on empty and you're scared and you haven't done the work and you haven't put yourself in a space where you can actually look at your fear and say, I'm scared. Sis, I'm scared. And if that sister doesn't look back at you and say, I've been scared too, girl, but we're going to work this thing out. If she doesn't do that, she's not your tribe. You're not supposed to be there. And that's okay, you know. You cannot give to others when you're only empty. An intentional purpose is an answer that only comes from getting still and becoming one with yourself and the Creator. Why do I say that? Why do you always, people ask me, why do you say yourself? Well, because you can become one with God and not hear Him because you're not acknowledging the areas you need to develop in your own personal space. So you have to go to Him and say, God, I know I messed up. I know I didn't do what you told me to do this time. And I thank you that you are ever present and there's always a ram in the bush. At least that's been my experience. And I don't take that lightly. But I need you right now, God, to help me in this area. And either He will send someone to your side and your aid, or He will provide the thing. He will speak to you on your level. I'm a firm believer in that. It's always your season to win. You just got to keep swimming, right? Always. If you stop swimming, what happens when you stop swimming? You drown. You are suffocated. You can't breathe. You're choking. You are like, yes, because you quit swimming. Keep kicking. Keep swimming. Move those arms. Even if you just got to stretch your arms out and float. Give God something to work with, right? So I want to share with you all that there are 10 sharks in my program. It's called CEO Your Life Boot Camp. I was in the military, so I like boot camps. Boot camp is a way that they immerse you into training, and you spend the next 4 to 6 weeks diving into whatever it is they're trying to teach you. Sustainability, mental toughness. You have to be physically fit, so you're jumping over obstacles. You're low crawling. People are shooting over your head. Stick your head up if you want to. So you learn to keep your head down because above they're shooting. And what I loved about being in military and basic training and going through boot camp was every time I thought it was bad, I always found myself on my knees. And that's because they was always having us on our knees, crawling, just crawl. Anytime, this is something that they teach you in the military. Anytime you're in a bad situation, they're shooting at you. You find yourself either by yourself or with your battle buddies. If you get low to the ground, the bullet can't hit you. Why? Because nobody shoots down. Nobody shoots down. No one comes in, yeah, I know you guys see on TV, you know, pop, 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 pop. That's TV. The enemy does not shoot down. Shoot straight ahead. It's coming for your heart. That's why they shoot straight ahead. And so when you get low to the ground, I like to say when you get on your knees, that's where the space of equipment is. That's what keeps you able to crawl and keep pushing through it and keep pushing through it. That's why when you swim underwater, they can't see you, right? So you gotta keep swimming. Keep swimming, you gotta keep crawling. So I'm hoping that, you know, some people will sign up for the CEO Your Life Boot Camp. And we dive into a lot of things, 60 minutes once a week. My counterpart Dory's there, my line sister who does holistic healing, she's gonna be involved in these things. But we're gonna talk about self-sabotage, dig a little bit about, you know, overcoming that fear. We'll talk about moving that mountain. And we're gonna allow God to show us how to close those gaps of where we are today and where we wanna be. I guarantee you at the end of this boot camp, you will come out feeling large and in charge of your life and knowing, you may not know your purpose in 4 weeks, but you will know how to find your purpose, how to pull that purpose out of everything and everyone around you in your life. It also gets you the CEO Your Life workbook. That's a workbook where I ask some very intimate questions. So when you sign up for the boot camp, you got to get real deep. And when I was in basic training, we had to shower in a bay. We didn't have doors. So you walked in and you saw 15 women showering because you only had 10 minutes. All you heard the drill sergeant saying was, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. And so you no longer looking at the girl that's looking at you because, you know, I don't want her looking at me because I'm naked. You just like, trying to wash up and get out, right? And so it's very important that while you washing up and you cleaning yourself, you got to use that workbook to tell me what was dirty. Tell me what you had to clean up, because you don't want to spend time, 60 minutes every week, with someone who is not feeding your purpose and not helping where the areas that you need help in. And so this is a very personalized and customized coaching program. It also gives you a 1-month subscription to the Boss Lady Network Jewel Vault. And that's where you'll see videos. This is a members-only subscription. It's a portal where you'll see videos of just daily tips, maybe weekly tips, motivational speaking. TD Jakes is in there talking about how to let people go when they want to leave your life, let them go. So a lot of different motivational and ministerial opportunities within that network. It gives you insight into personal, spiritual, emotional, professional, and financial areas, and that gives you the balance. You know, you get to pick and choose. Okay, I want to hear about finance. Okay, today I want to hear about, you know, getting into a spiritual presence with God. How do I study the Bible? My uncle does different lessons, and he teaches those things. How to study the Bible, you know, how to anticipate how to get where God has for you, how to be in relationship with God. So those are the things that I think are very important. And so for this weekend only and into Tuesday of next week, because we had a few people messaging through Facebook Live earlier, they were very interested. So we're going to make sure that we can provide some time. It's very limited. We don't take a lot of memberships because we want to make sure we spend personal time with people and make sure they're getting what they came for. And so we definitely have that. So this weekend only, usually a $500 program. We're going to have a special rate today for $300. Make sure you text Boss Lady to 555-888. Subscribe and also mention WEN so we can make sure you can get the discount. Feel free to share it with anyone you feel can be of benefit to this particular program. We do individualized things as well, so if that doesn't work for you, you can see us outside in the back, and we can also talk, share, exchange information, come up with some customized programs for you as well. that's my information. ReNata at thebossladynetwork.com. Thebossladynetwork.com is up now. And yes, that's my phone number. I communicate with everyone. I respond to text messages, Facebook. You know, if you look up the Boss Lady Network, the link is not up there, but there is a fan page. If you contact me there on the messenger, you will definitely get my response, and you will get an authentic response. And I'm kind of like Lisa and Dora as well. If you text me at 2 o'clock in the morning, I'll respond. You know, that's the God in me. Daughter, get up. You need to respond to this text message. Like, okay, God. Right? So I'm going to end. I want to thank you all for having me. I want to thank you all for listening and being very engaging. And I just want to say that when it gets tough, keep swimming. Okay? It's very important to keep swimming. Thank you.